Hi folks, I am Sam Yogi. Today is September 14th, 2025. Welcome back to the Krishnamurti podcast with Sam Yogi. This is episode 50. In today's episode, we shall look at the fourth talk at Oman again from the beginning without interrupting the talk with explanations and key points as we did in episodes 47, 48, and 49. And hopefully, I shall go past where we stopped on the last episode. So let's look at the fourth talk at Oman delivered by Krishnamurti. You know, life is a tremendous mystery, and most of us create a false mystery, an illusion, and try to penetrate that illusion, hoping that it will be real. We prefer the mystery of an illusion to the mystery of reality, and life is a mystery which cannot be understood if mind and heart are caught up in an illusion. So all illusion must cease before one can penetrate that innermost sanctuary that one calls life. I am trying to show the manner it can be penetrated and not the way, because I do not believe there is such a thing as a way. There is no path to truth. It is an uncharted land. It is an uncharted land, and you must come to it entirely naked, unprepared. You cannot have it charted, laid down. You must come to it wholly, unprepared, free, naked. Then you will understand it. Now, to me, there is a living ecstasy, which may be called God, reality. That is a timeless becoming. It is not an end which is to be gained, achieved, or conquered. It is a thing that is continually moving, changing, alive. It cannot be described. To discover it, to understand it, to penetrate it, the mind must be free of this idea of achievement. You cannot think of truth in terms of gains or in terms of success or conquering. Please, this is not rhetorical. Don't listen to me with a rhetorical mind. And as most minds are crippled by this idea of conquering, achieving, catching hold, our whole system of thought is based on it. To understand that living reality, the mind must be wholly free of this idea of achievement, because achievement involves time. That which you are going to gain implies a future and a present and a past. A mind and a heart that is caught up in time cannot understand that endless becoming. So, achievement, gain, conquering, and success, truth as a reward for righteous action, implies an effort, indicates that you must make a tremendous volition, develop a will, character, in order to attain, in order to be rewarded for your effort. And where there is an effort, there is duality. The thing which you conquer and the conqueror. Where there is duality, there is an opposite, an antithesis as good and bad, pain and pleasure, reward and punishment. As long as there is duality in mind, there is effort to escape from one to the other. This effort gives birth to the consciousness of the I, self-consciousness, and hence there arises suffering, pain, and the idea of time broken up into past, present, and future, where mind is continually seeking advancement, achievement, success, conquering a virtue or an end. There is this implication of duality which creates a consciousness of the I. From that, there arises suffering. So, to overcome the suffering, we resort to forgetfulness because most people are caught up in suffering. With that suffering, with that continual uncertainty and lack of comprehension, which created a void and emptiness, we are all the time trying to forget it, to run away from it, or trying to conquer it through self-discipline. This forgetfulness, this running away or disciplining oneself further increases that duality, and then there is that strain of conquest and the battle takes place. This is a process each one goes through consciously or unconsciously. The result is that you have set up an end to be conquered, which you consider to be true, an ideal of perfection, of God, of truth, of life. And you are always training to discipline yourself to conquer it, to train your mind to dwell constantly on that idea and to function in it. So you create in your mind a duality, an observer, a controller, and the thing which is observed and controlled. So you develop a higher mind and a lower mind, a higher emotion and a lower emotion, because your mind is suffocated, gripped in this duality. Hence, naturally, there is continual disharmony which creates conflict, and you are caught up in this circle. That is what is happening. That is obvious. That is what is taking place in each one. This establishment of an idea which we call truth or God, which is impossible because you cannot understand it. You cannot picture it as a whole until you are completely free of it. You can have an occasional glimpse, but if you cling to that glimpse, you are destroying the full comprehension of the present. So up to this we have covered in the last 3 episodes. I shall continue a bit longer. Krishnamurti says, so we begin to establish what we consider truth, which is born out of prejudice, because we always choose that which we consider to be truth out of like and dislike, which gives you satisfaction mentally, emotionally, or any other way. So we begin to establish what we consider truth, which is born out of prejudice, because we always choose that which we consider to be truth out of like and dislike. What gives you satisfaction mentally, emotionally, or any other way. So you distinguish between right action and wrong action. The right action being dominated by the higher mind, the mind that is continually observing, conquering, guiding, and hence creates in itself a duality, the I and the non-I, This is not another philosophy. It is what happens with each of us. That is how the process of self-discipline takes place. Now, to me, that is entirely erroneous. The whole process of approach is entirely wrong because it indicates a ceaseless effort. And as I say, where there is effort, there is no understanding of truth. Truth does not come through effort. It must be born naturally when you remove all hindrances, when you are free from all barriers created by effort. What creates this duality in us? Action. Action born out of the desire for want gain. Action born out of the desire for want gain. Action born out of fear, punishment. That creates a duality. And as I say, it is only action itself which is life, which is eternal. So when the mind is caught up by the bondage of a reward or a punishment or a motive or the search after truth, action has lost all its significance. And instead of action, there is always the sense of achievement as opposed to action. To me, action is infinite, everlasting, enduring, whereas achievement has a finality. So it is only when the mind and heart are free from all hindrances that life can flow easily, spontaneously, naturally, frankly. It is like a twisted ankle which causes pain, and when the ankle is put back in its place, life flows naturally again through it. So in the same way, when you free the mind from all hindrances, from all barriers, then life flows through it easily. So in the same way, when you really free the mind from all hindrances, from all barriers, then life flows through it easily. So it is only when the mind and heart are free from all hindrances that life can flow easily, spontaneously, naturally, frankly. It is like a twisted ankle which causes pain, and when the ankle is put back in its place, life flows naturally again through it. So in the same way, when you free the mind from all hindrances, from all barriers, then life flows through it easily. That is eternal action. But these hindrances are not to be conquered. You cannot say, I am going to conquer my hindrance. I am going to overcome it, translate it, transmute it. If you are thinking in terms of gain, then you are looking to sensation. And action based on sensation does not give this true discernment. So let's stop here because he is going to go into choiceless action by saying what gives true discernment is action without choice. So that will require explanation. I'll just mention one point. He is talking about barriers and hindrances, which we have covered in our past episodes. Specifically, if you look at the episodes which cover the talks in Alpino, or specifically the fourth talk in Alpino, there he goes into barriers like authority, security, postponement, fear, prejudice, and tradition. If you were paying attention, he talked about prejudice here and he talked about barriers and hindrances which impede the full flow of action and which makes the action incomplete. So that leads to incomplete action. The barrier leads, whatever be the barrier, it leads to incomplete action. And as a result, that ecstasy of life, which comes with fullness of action, fullness of life, with complete action, that ecstasy is not there. There is that ecstasy of life, but one has to engage mind and heart into the now, into what is happening right now. Engage with life. And one will find that there are these barriers which prevent one from complete action, whether it's prejudice or fear, which you have to understand. Or he even says postponement of action. We postpone our action, thus making it incomplete. So, thank you for joining me for this episode of the Krishnamurti podcast with Sam Yogi. If you found this discussion, or rather this talk today, insightful, consider sharing it with a friend and or listening to it again and or reflecting on it in your quiet moments. Until next time, may you create space for clarity, freedom, and choiceless awareness. Thank you. You have a wonderful day.